and welcome. My name's Dr. Vicki Haspels. I'm the Conscious Mystic, and welcome to the weekly forecast for week commencing September 23, 2024. Each week I like to bring the wisdom of the tarot from my deck, the Mythic Tarot, and I like to bring through interpretations of the deck and also a little bit of channeled information from Spirit as we do a psychic reading on the week as well based on the cards. I'm now going to, as I mentioned last week, going to bring through a different spread each month. So this month I have a particular favourite spread of mine, and I don't remember what the name of the spread was, but I'm going to now call it the Soul Journey spread, and I think that's an apt name for it. I'll explain it as we go, and I'll explain the interpretations and the information as we go along as well. So let's begin. So the premise of this deck, of this spread, is to choose 6 cards, and I'll just choose them as I'm talking to you. And each of the cards represents a different part of our soul journey. And because it's for the week, it can equally serve the week, the month. I like to use it for 6 months and sometimes even for 12 months. It doesn't matter. It just represents a different stage of the journey of the cycle of our life. So we've got 6 cards there. So we're not going to double up like we used to do. So the first card we're going to look at is the conscious self. So this represents the part of us that we know. And when I talk about it, even though it's not apparent to us when I say this to you, what's going on, it will make sense when I start explaining it. So that's what the conscious self is all about. Even though it's not right in front of us, it means that, oh, actually, I understand that and I get that. That means something to me. So this card we have is the 9 of Cups. Anyway, the 9 of Cups is represents it's called the wish card, so it also can be called like a manifestation card. I am not a big proponent of manifestation, so we're going to call it the becoming card, or it's like the magic card. So for the conscious self, when the 9 of Cups turns up, it means that we know that everything's going to be okay. It's not something that we must convince ourselves of. We just have a feeling that everything's going to turn out fine. So whatever's happening to us during the weekend as the cards go on, we just have this underlying sense and knowing that everything is on its on its way, or that it's all just working out the way that it's meant to, without any magical thinking or any sort of having to convince ourselves that we're okay. Because with the 9 of Cups, it just falls into place without us getting in the way at all. So that's what we know. If you tap into it, you go, yeah, I actually feel pretty good this week. So the second card we're looking at is the unconscious self, or the soul self. I like to think of that as the guides, or our angels, or our soul, giving us and just keeping us on track and reminding us that this is just to remind us to keep us on track to the conscious part of who we are, so that we don't get too off track with everything. So here we have the Knight of Swords. So the Knight of Swords represents that sort of quick Mercury feeling, that quick mercurial, of quick pivot, quick decision making. Whenever we find, in this instance, the Knight of Swords gets us back on track by just sort of jogging us out of our little, if we might be off on a little tangent over here, it's like, hang on, yes, that's right. That's what I was remembering. That's what I was thinking about. That's what I was sort of hoping for or working towards. This is a thing that is my passion, or in my heart. And so this is something that I wish would happen, or I'd love to happen. So whenever we sort of either lose heart or just get a bit off track in our mind, I just get it that if our mind starts to wander off that, the Knight of Swords, or our guidance, just goes, hey, what were you doing? Oh yeah, and just gets us back on track again. So that's how our soul, our guides and our angels are assisting us this week. It's keeping us on track. So the next card we're looking at is it's the challenge card. It can be also called the fear card, or the shadow part of us. I like to think of this card as the part that we are working towards, like an aspiration. This might be our vulnerable spot, And this is something that we're helping to build inside of ourselves to help us have more faith in our decision-making process and our intuition. It is a very important card because it means that this is the work that we're doing on ourselves to help us, bring us more in alignment with who we are. So we have the Star card. Now, if we're talking about especially the Wish card, having that Star card there is that loss of hope. So it looks like now that this card, Knight of Swords, is bringing us back into alignment, back into that a stream of, oh yeah, that's right, that's what I know is going to happen when we lose hope. It's not about gaining hope, it's about losing hope. And that's why that card is sitting in the Challenge, where you tendency to lose hope or lose our way or lose faith. And so what this so far the cards are showing us is that, or what the Star card is showing us is that to stay within our heart. What is it that we know that we love, or that we'd like to become, or where we're heading? That even though it's not right in front of us, when we tap into that heart part of us, or that knowing part of us, we don't have to have all the details laid out. We just know, and that's what the Hope card, that's what the Star card brings us. It brings us hope. It says, I'm not going to listen to that negative part of my brain. I'm going to focus on the light or the brightness of the direction that I'm heading in, and that's what we're working towards. We're building that strength inside of us so that we don't constantly have those peaks and troughs. Now, what is our action going to be? How are we going to act or react this week according to all the things that we know now? Oh, we have the Seven of Pentacles. So the sevens are all about choice, but it's a informed choice. And so the Seven of Pentacles is a very real decision about how we're going to move forward in our life. And you can see he's considering what he already has as opposed to what he's being offered. So in this respect, it's not that one choice is better than the other, but we get to see in real time what actually works for us. If we keep, again, it's not magical thinking. That's why these cards are here, to remind us, to sort of keep us grounded, keep us reminded about what's important to us. And that's why the Star card is there too, so that we don't, with that magical thinking, oftentimes we lose track of our way. Oh, this is impossible now, because we've sort of talked us into some sort of weird other path. Everything's bringing us back into alignment so that we can act or react in a very logical way, or a very grounded way. That's why the Seven of Pentacles is there. So we're looking at, okay, this is how I've always done it, and this is a new way of doing it. Again, it doesn't matter. It's not important that one's better than the other. It's allowing us to tap into what is how we are in alignment with ourselves as to what suits us at the moment. We might have a perfectly good job or good relationship or good life in place, and we're offered something that looks, or maybe something better, and we're thinking, I'm wondering whether this is a better way to go. By tuning into that part of ourselves, we will know for sure whether this is better or not, because sometimes something shiny is not always better. So this is the opportunity. This is how we're going to act. We're going to act from a very logical way about considering, well, this is actually what I need right now. I need stability, or I need to take a chance. And that's what the Seven's giving us, an opportunity to do that. So the next card is the possible future. What's the possible outcome? Look, this is a very interesting card. Five of Pentacles. Again, it's a Pentacles card, and see how he looks like he's in rags, and he's walking away from something that is profitable, and it's in the dark. So it looks like he's walking away in shame or something of regret. The Five is so the possible future is that it's a pivot point, in that we choose to align with our values because we have been living a particular way that was perfectly fine, but something has shifted inside of us, a belief of how we are or how we've been living or what we've been doing has now shifted and released. And we check in with ourselves and think, okay, this is actually who I am. This is now how I want to move forward. Sometimes that requires a sacrifice of moving away from what we know is established. And it's interesting that the card that precedes it is the Seven of Pentacles, where we're looking at what's stable and what's on offer. So expect that there'll be a bit of a slump when we make a move forward, because we will doubt, did I make the right decision? But also too, not so much always did we make the right decision, but it's just making those difficult choices sometimes that it looks good on paper, but we back ourselves saying, I'm going to back me. I might be walking away from a lot of stuff and I might have to start over again, but I am walking and stepping in alignment with who I am. Those are the hard decisions that we make sometimes. Now let's have a bit of a review of the other cards before we move forward. We're going to hang on to what we know. We're building up that strength about what we know is the right decision for us, or the right step for us. We know intuitively or instinctively that we are on the right path because we feel good about something. And whenever we shift into magical thinking or just wander off the path of get distracted by something shiny, we're brought back into view. Okay, that's right. This was the mission. This was the path. Right. So the last card, the sixth card, is the soul journey or the soul purpose card. So what is it that we are understanding about ourselves this week? Here we have the Nine of Swords. You can see it's quite, again, swords, thought. It's a very anxiety-ridden card because the person looks like they're in quite a bit of distress. And there are identities up the top here that seem to be tormenting this person. Overall, what we are growing into and what we are learning about ourselves and growing out of is to negate the negativity. Like, you know what? We've given so much power to our thoughts. The Nine of Swords can sometimes be a little bit of a self-sabotage card as well, because our thoughts are on a loop and we can't seem to break that loop. And so we are learning through this process, we are learning to break that loop, break those chains. We know that there is a better way. We are brave enough, or are we brave enough to walk away from something that looks good on paper when we make that choice to break away something because it's toxic, or it could be not, as I said, not aligned with who we are? It's going to cause all sorts of oh no, I can't do that, negative self-talk. This breaks the cycle of that negative self-talk because we're standing up for ourselves and we're standing in our power, because we know that we're on the right track because we're connected to what's in here. This is like a little overview of a little tiny journey within a journey about where we're heading and how this is going to affect us and what we're overcoming. Even if we make it a little bit of the way, one step with that. You don't have to undo it all or work it all out in one go. It's that one step in the direction that aligns with our heart that makes a difference, because then that makes it easier to take the next step and so forth. In order to know for ourselves what's going to work or not, rather than being on a constant loop, it's take that first step. It's got to be better than what it is that we're leaving behind, especially if we know that there's something better out there for us. Okay, well, that's the weekly forecast. Thank you for joining me. I will come back next week with another weekly forecast. This is for week commencing September 23rd, 2024. My name is Dr. Vicki Haspels. I'm the Conscious Mystic. Much love to you from me. See you next week. Bye.